Here's something your doctor probably never mentioned during your annual checkup. That daily walk you've been taking, the one everyone says is so good for you, might be keeping you active, but it's not keeping you strong. After 55, there's a difference between those two things. What you need is targeted strength training for seniors. Welcome to the Health Show with Robert Thornton. Walking is valuable for heart health, mood, and general wellness. But a 2018 study from the Mayo Clinic found that adults over 55 who walked regularly for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, still lost an average of 12% of their leg strength over 5 years. This progressive muscle loss has a name: sarcopenia, and walking doesn't prevent it. They were moving, but they weren't maintaining the muscle power needed to prevent falls, recover from trips, or get up from low seats without assistance. I saw this firsthand with a caregiver named Paul who reached out to our community. His mother is 83, mentally sharp, but physically declining. About a year ago, she had a nasty fall. Paul moved back home to help, thinking it would be temporary. That was a year ago. Scientists at Johns Hopkins measured muscle fiber recruitment during normal walking and found that casual walking activates only 28 to 35% of hip and glute muscles. That means more than 2/3 of the most important stability muscles remain largely inactive. Over months and years, those unused type 2 muscle fibers, the fast twitch fibers you need for quick reactions, atrophy first. The American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons released data showing that hip fracture rates among active walkers over 60 were nearly identical to sedentary adults of the same age. Walking alone wasn't building the protective strength their bodies needed when balance failed or footing slipped. The CDC reports that 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year, often due to this exact muscle weakness. Today, I'm going to share 5 exercises that address what walking misses. These movements combine resistance training with balance training, targeting the muscle groups responsible for stability, fall prevention, and maintaining your activities of daily living as you age. Combined with adequate protein intake, these exercises can reverse years of muscle loss. The number 1 exercise on this list is so effective that physical therapists use it to help post-surgery patients regain strength faster than any other single movement. We'll count down from number 5 to number 1. Each exercise builds on the last. Number 5 is wall sits. Wall sits target sustained isometric strength in the quadriceps and glutes. That's the kind of strength that keeps you stable when standing in one position, reaching for something on a high shelf, or holding yourself steady on a moving bus. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity tested wall sits on adults between 58 and 74 years old. After 10 weeks of doing wall sits 3 times per week, participants showed a 29% increase in knee stability and a 22% improvement in their ability to rise from a seated position without using their hands. When you walk, your muscles contract and relax with each step. But many situations in life require static strength, where muscles must hold tension without moving. Standing up from a low couch, squatting down to pick up something you dropped, holding your balance on one leg while putting on shoes. Walking doesn't train that. Wall sits do. Stand with your back flat against a wall and your feet about shoulder width apart, positioned roughly 2 feet away from the wall. Slowly slide your back down the wall until your thighs are parallel to the floor. Your knees should be directly above your ankles, not extending past your toes. This alignment protects your knee joints from unnecessary stress. Hold this position for 20 to 30 seconds to start. Keep your back pressed firmly against the wall and breathe normally. When the time is up, slide slowly back up the wall to standing. Start with 3 sets of 20 to 30 second holds. Rest for 60 seconds between sets. As you get stronger over the coming weeks, gradually increase your hold time to 45 seconds, then 60 seconds. A study from the University of Michigan found that wall sits performed for 60 seconds produced quadriceps strength gains equal to leg press machines using moderate weights, but without any impact on the joints. If you have knee pain or arthritis, you can modify this by not going as deep. Instead of a 90-degree angle, try a 120-degree angle. Do this 3 times per week, and within 6 weeks, you'll notice that getting up from chairs feels easier and your legs feel more solid. Number 4 is step downs. Step downs reveal how well your body controls movement under load. When you step up, momentum helps you. But when you step down, your muscles work eccentrically, lengthening while under tension to slow your descent. This eccentric control is what your body needs when walking downstairs, stepping off a curb, or catching yourself from a stumble. Research from the University of North Carolina found that adults over 55 who scored poorly on step-down tests were 2.4 times more likely to experience a fall within the next 12 months compared to those who performed well. The same study showed that practicing step-downs just twice a week for 8 weeks reduced that fall risk by 58%. Paul's mother, the one I mentioned earlier, she refuses to consider assisted living. She won't accept help from professional caregivers. Some days, Paul manages her medications between Zoom calls for his full-time job. He cooks her meals, helps with personal care, and watches her struggle with basic movement. You'll need a stable platform or step that's 6 to 8 inches high. A stair step works perfectly. Stand on the step with your entire right foot planted firmly. Let your left leg hang off the edge of the step. Slowly lower your left foot toward the floor by bending your right knee. This should take 3 to 4 seconds. Touch your left heel lightly to the floor, then push through your right heel to return to the starting position. Controlled lowering is where the strength building happens. Your quadriceps, glutes, and hip stabilizers have to fire intensely to control that descent. A study in the Journal of Biomechanics measured muscle activation during step-downs and found that the working leg's gluteus medius activated at 71% of maximum capacity. That's higher than squats, lunges, or walking. Do 10 repetitions on your right leg, then switch to your left leg for 10 repetitions. That's one set. Aim for 3 sets with 60 seconds of rest between sets. As you do these, pay attention to how your knee tracks. Your kneecap should stay aligned over your second toe. If your knee collapses inward, that's a sign of weak hip stabilizers. For added challenge as you progress, try doing the step down without touching your foot to the floor. Instead, hover your heel an inch above the ground for 1 second before returning to the starting position. This variation, tested by researchers at Duke University, increased strength gains by an additional 18% compared to the standard version. If one side feels significantly harder, add an extra set on that weaker side. Over 6 to 8 weeks, your goal is to equalize the strength between both legs. Number 3 is lateral band walks. Most movements throughout the day are forward and backward, walking, sitting down, standing up, climbing stairs, but movements requiring sideways motion, stepping over something, or shifting weight to catch balance. Those depend on muscles that forward movement doesn't train. The gluteus medius and gluteus minimus, the muscles on the outer part of the hips, control side-to-side stability. When these muscles are weak, the hips wobble with each step. Physical therapists call this the Trendelenburg gait. The pelvis dips on one side with each stride, throwing off alignment. This wobbling gait increases stress on the knees, lower back, and hip joints. A study published in Physical Therapy Journal followed 180 adults over age 60 for 2 years. Researchers measured their gluteus medius strength at the start and tracked who fell during the study period. Participants in the weakest third for side glute strength experienced falls at nearly 3 times the rate of those in the strongest third. Weak side glutes were the single biggest predictor of falls, even more than age, weight, or walking speed. Lateral band walks are designed to strengthen these stabilizer muscles. You'll need a small resistance band, sometimes called a mini band. Loop the band around both legs, just above your knees. Stand with your feet hip-width apart and slightly bend your knees. Step sideways with your right foot, moving about 12 inches to the right. Your left foot should follow, but don't let your feet come together. Maintain tension on the band the entire time. Take 10 steps to the right, then 10 steps back to the left. That's one set. Aim for 3 sets with 45 seconds of rest between sets. For this exercise to work properly, you need a slight athletic stance. Keep your chest up, core engaged, and knees bent about 20 degrees. Research from the University of Delaware used electromyography to measure muscle activation and confirmed that maintaining the bent knee position increased gluteus medius activation by 34% compared to standing upright. As you step, focus on pushing through the outside edges of your feet. You should feel a burning sensation on the sides of your hips after 6 to 8 steps. For progression, you can move the band lower, placing it around your ankles instead of your knees. This increases the resistance significantly. Within 4 to 6 weeks of consistent practice, you'll notice that your walking feels more stable. Number 2 is single leg Romanian deadlifts. The single leg Romanian deadlift trains your posterior chain under unilateral load. Your posterior chain includes your hamstrings, glutes, and lower back muscles. These are the muscles that power you forward when you walk, help you stand up from a chair, and catch you when you stumble. A clinical trial from Stanford University studied 90 adults between 58 and 72 years old who added single leg Romanian deadlifts to their weekly routine. After 12 weeks, participants improved their single leg balance time by 64% and reduced their backward fall incidence by 47%. The exercise works because it forces your brain and muscles to communicate precisely to keep you upright while moving through an unstable position. Stand on your right leg with a slight bend in your right knee. Hold onto a chair or wall with your right hand for balance. Hinge forward at your hips, not your waist, and let your left leg extend straight behind you as your torso lowers toward the floor. Your body should form a relatively straight line from your head through your left leg. Lower until you feel a stretch in your right hamstring, usually when your torso is about parallel to the floor. Then squeeze your right glute to pull yourself back to standing. If you've never done this before, start with just body weight and hold on to support the entire time. Don't worry about how low you can go. Your range of motion will improve with practice. The important part is maintaining a flat back and feeling the work in your glutes and hamstrings, not in your lower back. Do 8 repetitions on your right leg, then switch to your left for 8 repetitions. That's 1 set. Perform 3 sets with 90 seconds of rest between sets. As you get more comfortable over several weeks, try letting go of the support for brief moments during the exercise. Research from the National Institute on Aging found that unsupported single-leg exercises produced improvements in proprioception, your body's spatial awareness, that were 40% greater than supported versions. For added difficulty, you can hold a light dumbbell in the hand opposite your standing leg. Even a 5 or 8 pound weight significantly increases the challenge. A study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that adding just light resistance to single-leg Romanian deadlifts increased glute activation by 23% and hamstring activation by 31% compared to body weight alone. Number 1 is goblet squats. Physical therapists, orthopedic surgeons, and strength coaches agree on this. Goblet squats build strength in the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core simultaneously. They improve the ability to sit down and stand up, one of the most important functional movements for maintaining independence. These exercises don't just prevent falls, they protect against osteoporosis too. A 2-year study from the University of Pittsburgh followed 250 adults over age 60 who were at risk for losing mobility. Half continued their normal routines, the other half added goblet squats to their weekly exercise. At the end of 2 years, the goblet squat group maintained 94% of their baseline strength, while the control group lost an average of 18% of their leg strength. The squat group reported 61% fewer incidents where they felt unsteady on their feet. When I think about Paul and his mother, I think about what could have been different. If she had built that foundational strength 5 years ago, 10 years ago, would she have caught herself during that fall? Would Paul still have his own life, his independence? He's in his early 40s, no kids, and he's put his entire life on pause. His savings are depleting. His social life is gone. Dating is impossible. And the guilt he feels when he thinks about wanting his life back, that's the invisible weight so many caregivers carry. The front-loaded weight, you'll hold a dumbbell or kettlebell at chest level, keeps your torso upright and prevents you from leaning too far forward. This protects your lower back. The squatting motion itself mimics sitting and standing. When you strengthen this exact movement pattern, everything from getting out of bed to rising from the toilet becomes easier. Squats require your entire lower body to work as a coordinated unit. Hold a single dumbbell vertically at chest height with both hands cupped under the top weight. If you don't have a dumbbell, a gallon jug of water works. Stand with your feet slightly wider, then shoulder width apart, toes pointed slightly outward, about 15 to 20 degrees. Keep your chest lifted and your core engaged. Initiate the squat by pushing your hips back as if you're about to sit in a chair. As your hips move back, your knees will naturally bend. Lower yourself until your thighs are parallel to the floor or as close as you can comfortably get. At the bottom, pause for 1 second, then drive through your heels to stand back up, squeezing your glutes at the top. Start with a light weight, perhaps 10 to 15 pounds. Do 10 to 12 repetitions, rest for 90 seconds, and repeat for 3 total sets. As you get stronger over 8 to 10 weeks, gradually increase the weight by 2 to 5 pounds. A study from the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that progressive resistance, slowly adding weight over time, produced 41% greater strength gains than using the same weight indefinitely. Your knees should track in line with your toes throughout the movement. Don't let them collapse inward. If you feel knee pain, reduce your range of motion. You don't have to squat all the way down. Research from the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine and Science in Sports compared full-depth squats to quarter squats in older adults and found that quarter squats still produced 68% of the strength gains of full squats, but with far less joint stress. If balance is a concern, perform goblet squats facing a wall and place a chair behind you. Lower down until you lightly touch the chair seat, then stand back up. Over time, as your strength and balance improve, you can remove the chair. Walking is valuable, and I'm not suggesting you stop walking. But if walking is your only form of exercise, you're missing components of strength, stability, and functional mobility. The 5 exercises we've covered, wall sits, step downs, lateral band walks, single leg Romanian deadlifts, and goblet squats, address what walking cannot. They build isometric strength, eccentric control, lateral stability, balance under load, and vertical power. Walking maintains what you already have, if you're fortunate. These 5 exercises build what you've lost and protect what you'll need in the future. Each movement trains your body for real-life situations. Reaching for something on a high shelf, stepping over an obstacle, recovering from a stumble, lifting something from the floor, and standing up from a deep chair. Paul reached out because he wanted to know if there was anything his mother could still do to regain some strength, some independence. The truth is, it's harder to rebuild what's been lost than to maintain what you have. But it's not impossible. These exercises work at any age. They work even after a fall. They work even when you think it's too late. But they work better when you start before the fall happens. The time commitment is reasonable. Each exercise takes about 4 minutes to complete with rest periods. That's 20 minutes total. Do this routine twice per week and you'll see measurable improvements within 6 to 8 weeks. If this was helpful, subscribe for more evidence-based health information